to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful afternoon at Rogers Center. Omar Vizquel not in the starting lineup tonight, but boy, he put on a show last night, both in the field and at the plate. At 45 years old, Omar Vizquel became the oldest player in Major League history to hit both a triple and a double in the same game.
First time up, right down the right field line with that double. Just keeps it fair, and then smokes the ball his next time up. That one into the right center field gap right after Brett Lawrie. But the play that impressed me with Vizquel was the barehanded play that he made later in the game. After watching that, you see the ball off the bat by Peralta, and you say, oh, no, don't grab it with your bare hand. Oh, that's right, that's Omar Vizquel. Go ahead with your bare hand, because he's done it a million times in his career.
Vizquel had a great line after the game when he asked who was fastest to third base. You or Brett Lawrie? He said Lawrie had to slide. I went standing up. Detroit Tigers, they lost 8-3 last night. Carlos Villanueva, another gem. He improved his record to 6-0. Jim Leyland knows he's got a great ball club, and they've got a difficult middle of the order. You look at Prince Fielder, the cleanup batter in his first year with the Tigers. Over his last 14 games, he's at 388. A couple of doubles, a home run that came in last night's game. His first home run since the All-Star break. Top of the order has changed for the Detroit Tigers. They've got speed in Austin Jackson and Quentin Berry. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, maybe the best 1-2 power punch in all of baseball. Delman Young, Brendan Bosch, Johnny Peralta. The catcher is Alex Avila, and Omar Infante back with the Tigers again.
Pretty good lineup that Henderson Alvarez will face this afternoon as he gets ready for his 20th start of the season. Picked up his 6th win his last time out. Despite giving up 7 runs to the Boston Red Sox, this is the first look that the Tigers have of Alvarez making his debut versus Detroit this afternoon. Alvarez saw him in spring training, but it's a little bit different during the regular season. Defensively behind Alvarez, you'll get a lot of ground ball out, so be ready on the infield. Travis Snyder, Anthony goes with his first start in center field for the Blue Jays this afternoon, and Rajai Davis in right field. Lori Escobar Johnson and Encarnacion in the inner defense, they've been outstanding. Yan Gomes will get his first start behind the plate, and there Escobar, after missing the last 3 games, tested out his back this morning about 10:30, said he was good to go, and back in there after missing the last 3 days.
Good to see him back in the lineup, and we are set to go. Austin Jackson, the center fielder. He's done a great job in the leadoff spot for Jim Leyland's Tigers. First pitch strike right down the middle at 97. That's quite a good morning, good afternoon for Austin Jackson, seeing that first pitch from Alvarez.
Nice little wake-up call also up and into him.
Oh, 0-2. Henderson Alvarez and Yan Gomes have worked together before. They both played together in the minor leagues, so it's not the first time that we have seen this matchup. So Gomes is comfortable with Alvarez.
Yan caught him in high A ball in the Dunedin in the Florida State League a couple of years ago, and then in Double A last year. So yeah, you're right. He is very familiar with him. He knows exactly his strengths and his weaknesses.
Brett Lawrie timed his jump perfectly. A hot shot on a breaking ball right to the third baseman. 1 down.
We are getting used to those athletic plays at third base by Brett Lawrie. Times it perfectly and goes way up there to snag extra bases away from Jackson. You see him moving right at the last minute, right into that alley to make that play.
Quentin Berry, the left fielder. Berry had a couple of hits in 4 at-bats in last night's game. Alvarez has got good movement on that fastball early on.
He's made a couple of changes since moving back over to that third base side of the pitching rubber. It really helps him to stay on top of the ball. That's what gets that ball to sink.
Berry's got a 5-game hit streak. He's got 8 for 21 during that stretch. That's a 381 clip. 27-year-old rookie. It's taken him a while to get an opportunity in the big leagues.
He has been a nice little spark plug for the Detroit Tigers.
He's second in the American League among rookies with 33 runs scored and 15 stolen bases, and it doesn't take you 2 seconds to think about who's first. Mike Trout of the Angels. 3-0. There's a strike.
Took me 2 seconds.
Yeah, but you're a sharp guy. You were thinking about that one. Mike Trout's having a phenomenal rookie season. Ground ball. That's a fair ball. Donishard will step on the bag. 2 down.
Good idea to keep that speed off the bases. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Henderson Alvarez, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Fastball, he's going to throw it 70% of the time. He can really sink it when he stays on top of it. His changeup is probably his second best pitch. And since he has moved back over to the third base side of the pitching rubber, the changeup is a lot better. His slider is third best pitch. He'll throw it 17% of the time. That's just a pitch that basically a show me pitch. He's basically going to be the changeup and the fastball.
Miguel Cabrera homered in his first at bat last night, also with 2 outs in the first. Shot up the middle. He didn't waste any time. He had mentioned the Tigers saw Alvarez in spring training. It was his final start of the season. It was his last tune-up, and Cabrera hit a ball just like that against him in Dunedin.
Shell-shocked is the word to describe what happened that day in Dunedin. That ball right back through the middle. Henderson Alvarez got beat up pretty bad that afternoon by the Detroit Tigers. But you know the one thing I liked about him, he showed composure, and he was able to pitch into the 5th inning.
Prince Fielder takes the first pitch strike. Fielder and Cabrera went back-to-back in the game last night. The second time they've done that this season. They went back-to-back opening weekend of the season, April 7th, against the Red Sox. With back-to-back home runs and a 10-0 Tiger win. Well, he's got a good fastball early on.
Fastball in a good spot. That's what we're going to have to watch this afternoon for Alvarez. For a sinker ball pitcher, when he makes mistakes, he's been hurt when the ball's up.
Well, he's given up 20 home runs, and that's a big number. You don't really associate that many home runs with a sinker ball pitcher, and he is one of the better sinker ball pitchers, but when he makes a mistake, everybody is right on it.
Yeah, they've paid for it when he has made that mistake. He's got a lot of ground ball double plays, a lot of ground outs, one of the best ratios in the game. And I think that's just maturity and being around for such a short time. He doesn't have that consistency that he needs, and when he misses his spots, they've hit him hard.
Another 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, fly ball left field. Snyder, long run. What a catch! Oh my! Travis Snyder says, you know what? I don't want to go back to the minor leagues, and he is playing like it. He takes away extra bases and saves a run for Henderson Alvarez. That ball was slicing away from him. We've seen him make 3 diving catches since he's rejoined this ball club. That's a highlight play. Edwin Encarnacion continues to have a hot bat. Drove it around in his first at bat last night. Since the All-Star break, he's at .317. 6 doubles, 4 homers, and he's driven in 13 runs. Lineup, a little bit of a shuffle again this afternoon. Rajay Davis is in the leadoff spot. He's in right field. Colby Rasmus gets the day off from center field. He's the DH. Brett Lawrie drops down into the third spot ahead of Encarnacion. Travis Snyder had his 3rd home run of the season last night against the lefty. Escobar Johnson Gomes making his major league debut as a starting catcher. Will face Anibal Sanchez.
There are the combined numbers for Anibal Sanchez for his time with the Miami Marlins and 20th start of the season. 5 and 7. They just weren't scoring any runs for him. A very good ERA at 3.9. This is his first start of his career here at Rogers Center.
Ball is hit down the right side, and that'll reach the seats. Rajay Davis had an RBI double against Anibal Sanchez the last time these two met. That start was June 22nd down in Miami. Shortest start of the season for Sanchez, who went 3 1/3, was charged with 6 earned runs on 7 hits.
He also had 4 walks in that ball game. He just could not command his breaking ball. His fastball didn't have the type of life that we have seen from Sanchez in the past.
There's a good breaking ball. He strikes out Davis.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Detroit Tigers this afternoon. This is how they will line up for Jim Leyland's squad. In the outfield, Berry, Jackson, and Bosch. A lot of speed. And Peralta and Fonte in the middle of the diamond. Cabrera and Fielder on the infield. Combined, they have made 16 errors this season. Alex Avila behind the plate, a very good throwing catcher. He teamed up with Anibal Sanchez this afternoon.
Colby Rasmus, the DH. Rasmus hit 3rd in the lineup last night. John Farrell really had to do some mixing and matching as he put his lineup together. 2 starters were scratched right before the start of the game. You know, Escobar and Adam Lind were both in the original lineup, and John Farrell had to start all over again, and good for John Farrell to put Omar Vizquel in the 2 spot.
That should have been our smart play of the day right there. Moving it up.
Rasmus squares to bunt and pops it over the Blue Jays dugout. Omar Vizquel, 45 years old, became the first player in Major League history, the oldest player to have a double and a triple in the same game. Good slider down and in. Rasmus strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sanchez.
Looks like his stuff already is better than the last time we saw him. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Anibal Sanchez, who's got a good arm. He'll use his fastball and really mixes his pitches well. As a starter, he's got all of them. The fastball, the slider, change. He's cutting the ball just a little bit more this season, and it's a good one. Curveball and sinker. His changeup, I think, is a much improved pitch for him, and he's used it already today. Got Davis with a changeup for his strikeout.
Brett Lawrie shoots it into right. That's a fair ball down into the corner. Lawrie is headed for second. Bosch digs it out, and Brett Lawrie, as he did against Sanchez in his first at bat, has an extra base hit. Lawrie tripled off Sanchez down in Miami the first time he saw him.
That same type of play right down the right field line, and with that big field in Miami, it ended up being a triple, this time a double. I was talking with Brett yesterday, and I asked him, how you feeling up there? He says, I'm more relaxed now than at any time in my career. I feel good at the plate. I'm not waiting around trying to see pitches. The first good one I see, I'm letting it go.
19th double of the season for Brett Lawrie. Edwin Encarnacion. Breaking ball. Encarnacion has really been consistent. Edwin had an RBI in his first at bat last night. Broken bat single into right. Driven in 71 so far this season.
Much better patience at the plate. 48 walks to build that on-base percentage up around 400.
Into right, Bosch over to his right. Has to reach high over his head. That ball took off on him a bit, but he made the play. So the Tigers give up a 2-out double. Encarnacion hit it hard to right, but Bosch is able to make the play. It's Mr. Sub Sports Bag Day, the third and final game of this series against the Tigers. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a sports bag courtesy of Mr. Sub. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Always a popular day and good way to wrap up this homestand. Mr. Sub Sports Bag Day. Delman Young is the DH. Off that heavy sinker. Young went 1 for 3 in the game last night. He also walked.
Starting to show some signs coming out of a season-long front. There's his 5-game pitch streak. Starting to hit the ball with a little bit more authority. When he first came up with the Tampa Bay Rays, I thought he was going to be a star. Could do it all. He's got a good throwing arm, a good defender. He had a good approach at the plate, and I thought 25 home runs, 100 RBIs have been a given for him. He did have a 100 RBI season when he was with Minnesota, but now he is working on his team.
Hits this ball into center. Anthony Gose over in the gap, gets there and makes the catch. Anthony Gose is making his first start in center field in the big leagues, and that's his position. He is a true center fielder. And so far we've seen him in right field, and he and Rajay Davis get their heads together out there in center.
Yeah, they've shaken up the outfield in the last couple of weeks because of some inconsistency in play and some injuries to Bautista. So this team, this outfield, they're new together. Communication is going to be very important.
Brennan Bosch, another good-looking young player that really hasn't been able to maintain consistency. He had a tough night last night. A couple of strikeouts. He grounded out to first base and hit into a fielder's choice. Last 18 games, he's hit over 300. He's late on that fastball.
Teams are throwing in a lot of breaking balls after the good start that he had to his career. And then going out of the strike zone, he needs to be a little bit more patient at the plate. He's got some power.
Laid off that high fastball. Blue Jays are going to put any streaks together. They need to have their starters pitch a little more consistently. It's been a rough month for Henderson Alvarez. Sound like he broke his bat. Kelly Johnson got in time. Kelly Johnson went around that ball. It was hitting a tough spot. Hit off the end of the bat. Maybe broke his bat, but Bosch gets an infield single.
You want to get yourself in a position to make the throw over to first base. He thought it was hit harder. You see him break to his right, and that's all that Bosch needs. Just that little movement right there. He's able to outrun the baseball.
Johnny Peralta, the shortstop. Peralta had a rough night. 3 strikeouts, and he was robbed of an infield hit on that fine play by Omar Vizquel. Hit a chopping ball over the mound at shortstop. Vizquel barehanded it, threw Peralta out. Early on, this looks a little bit like Porcello starting in that game last night, throwing that heavy sinker down and in. Alvarez has got the Tiger hitters really battling to square that ball up.
Yeah, he was good yesterday. Very early in the game, threw a lot of strikes, had some very easy innings, but then ran into some trouble in the middle parts of that game. The sinker stopped sinking.
Had a rough inning in the 4th. Threw 36 pitches in that 4th inning. A couple of walks, and Jeff Mathis had a 3-run double. Well, that ball just disappears. He's nice and patient with it, and if he doesn't try to throw it too hard, the bottom drops out of it.
Doing a good job of tying up Peralta also. He hits with very high hands. That bat, and when you can get it inside, he likes to extend and get his arms out so he can drive the baseball. Alvarez did a good job there of tying him up and keeping the ball inside. Candidate for a double play.
Missed down and away. Peralta has grounded into 11 double plays this year. Miguel Cabrera leads the Tigers in that department. He's hit into 19. But Cabrera hits the ball so hard. Oftentimes when he hits it hard, it's on the ground right at an infielder. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Popped into shallow right field. Rajay Davis battling the sun. Makes the catch. Peralta's retired. 2 down in the inning.
Outfielder's going to have that problem all afternoon, I think, with the high sky, the sun right into him, especially in right field. The sun field here at Rogers Center. So Rajay Davis got the sunglasses down and keeps checking the sky.
The catcher, Alex Avila. He went 0 for 3 last night. 2 outs. Brennan Bosch with an infield single. He's at first. We mentioned Alvarez and his struggles this season. Started out the season holding opponents to a .223 average in April. That jumped to .308 in May, .320 in June, and .309 in July. So the hitters have made an adjustment. Now Alvarez has to counteract that.
You know, I think what the adjustment was that the hitters made against Henderson Alvarez, he was just throwing too many strikes. Builds off of his fastball again and a changeup. Basically, fastball changeup, throws a lot of strikes with that fastball. Hitters were going up there and just swinging away. And I think that compounded the problem for Alvarez.
Foul back. Alvarez certainly has had plenty of run support when you look back over his log for the month of July. Since June 25th, Alvarez leads American League in runs per game, 10.24. Chris Sale, the White Sox. Jared Weaver, about A.J. Griffin. He is a good-looking young pitcher. Oakland Athletics pitched game 2 of that last series. Right, free call. Alex Avila caught looking at an inside fastball. The Tigers get a base hit. They leave a runner. Travis Snyder put on a show in the top half of the first inning with his glove. He's also swung the bat well. Eskimore back in the lineup. And Kelly Johnson. Prince Fielder at the plate, and Travis Snyder again makes a fine defensive play.
Ball was slicing away from him, and that glove is on that right hand. So he's able to reach out and take away extra bases, and probably a run for the Tigers, also helping out his starting pitcher. And the instruction doesn't stop. In between innings, Torey Lovullo, the outfield coach for the Blue Jays, offering instructions to Travis Snyder.
Travis Snyder got some information about Anibal Sanchez this morning when he talked to Colby Rasmus. Rasmus has faced Sanchez as much as anyone on his team. Only Kelly Johnson has more at bats against Sanchez, so being both left-handed hitters, they shared information. Bouncing ball off the hand of Sanchez. Peralta behind second makes the play. Like Sanchez may have tipped that with his bare hand. Johnny Peralta, shortstop, made the play behind second. One down. Eskimore back in the lineup again, and that's good news for the Blue Jays.
They have been playing so well before that lower back injury knocked him out of the last 3 games. Playing good defense, getting to a lot more balls, showing a little bit better range over the last month or so.
Came out and took some ground balls, took some swings earlier in the batting cage just to make sure he was okay.
Louis Rivera was telling me today, I was asking him about Escobar, and he said he took some batting practice yesterday and took some ground balls and everything was okay, and then took some extra batting practice, and the ball inside, he was having trouble swinging the bat. He could really feel it on inside pitches yesterday, and so he had to get scratched from the game. But came out today and said he felt fine. ball away from him and didn't have any problem with that.
Sanchez a hit, 1-2. Ball is hit into center field. Austin Jackson has plenty of room. Escobar's retired. Sanchez, totally different than the last time we saw him. He didn't have command. He didn't have any real crisp pitches in that series opening game on Friday night back in June. Everything just kind of rolled up to the plate.
Yeah, no life on his fastball. His cutter wasn't very good. His curveball wasn't very good either. And Blue Jays took advantage of it.
Mentioned Kelly Johnson. He's 5 for 21 against Sanchez. He's also hit a home run against the Tigers right-hander. Tough play for Sanchez. Plants and fires, and he made a good play. Outstanding defensive play by Sanchez. He knew he had to rush his throw, planted that right foot, and threw his strike. Sanchez was the only guy that was going to record an out on this little swinging tapper up the third baseline. Plants and fires quickly. That ends the inning. Sunday, July 29th, the Blue Jays wrap up this 3-game series with the Tigers. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. Game used items, Blue Jays swag, and much more. Garage sale is at section 127, and you must have a ticket to the game to participate. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations and pick up your Jays tickets. Henderson Alvarez jumps ahead of Omar Infante. Infante came with Anibal Sanchez in that trade with the Marlins. The Tigers addressed two needs when they picked up Infante to stabilize second base, and they got another starter in Sanchez. They gave up a lot. Jacob Turner, 21-year-old big right-handed pitcher, highly regarded prospect.
And for the first time in Major League history, draft picks.
Yeah, it's interesting. With the new basic agreement, there were compensation draft picks traded. Tigers got an A draft pick compensation next year, 2013. And the Marlins got a B draft pick. It's interesting, and it's a really unusual situation because they'll decide at the end of the year where those draft picks are going to take place. And as I understand it, it's something that could go away. They're just trying to figure out how it's going to impact. It was put into the new basic agreement as a balance of power kind of mechanism to give those teams that need more help possibility of an extra draft choice.
And I love it. All the other major sports, you have the ability to trade draft picks, so why not baseball also?
Upstairs, 2-2. Sanchez was part of a big trade when he went from Boston to Miami. Dave Dombrowski in the orange shirt, an outstanding front office GM. Said it hurt when he had to give up Jacob Turner, but given where they are in the situation with postseason available, he pulled the trigger and brought in Sanchez and Infante. Tigers currently a game and a half behind the White Sox in the AL Central.
They invested a lot of money in Prince Fielder to win right now. So one more trade of a top draft pick to try and win. You do it all the time.
Wicked. Down and away sinker, and Infante strikes out. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Henderson Alvarez.
When you watch Alvarez, watch him stay on top of that ball. The fingers, if they're on top of that baseball, you can really drive that ball down. And that's the type of late movement that you need from a sinker ball pitcher. He gets into trouble sometimes when his fingers are on the side of the baseball and his sinker goes side to side.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Kelly Johnson can't make the play on the back end. Austin Jackson's aboard. Jackson's hit the ball hard twice already this afternoon. He lined to third his first time up.
First hit in the series. He took a collar yesterday, 0 for 5. This is a guy who's hitting over 380 in his career versus the Blue Jays. Done a good job of pitching to him so far in this series.
Jackson's also hit 330 against right-handed pitching. Quentin Berry, the left fielder. Shows bunt. Pulls the bat back. Berry was called up from AAA Toledo on the 23rd of May. At that time, Austin Jackson had gone on disabled list. He was filling in center and did a great job. They're going to get Andy Dirks back off the disabled list soon. Dirks is currently on a rehab assignment, and they might have a tough decision on how they're going to spread out the playing time.
He has played great defense for the Detroit Tigers. I still remember that catch he made in Minnesota when he was first called up there. Straight back, right over his shoulder, his back to home plate to haul one in on a dive.
These two guys at the top of the order will run. Austin Jackson's 10 for 13 in steal attempts.
Tigers do a good job of stealing bases. They don't steal a lot, but they've only been caught 9 times this year, which is the best percentage in the American League. 40 for 49.
Yeah, with the kind of thunder they have in the middle of the lineup, you don't want to lose any base runners. But you don't mind stealing bases and giving those RBI guys chances to hit with men in scoring position.
This is a great time right here with the speed at the top of the lineup and just 1 out. Only the Baltimore Orioles have fewer stolen bases than the Tigers, but again, the percentage is excellent.
Not going. Ground ball. Alvarez takes his time on the money. Second back to first. A double play. Boy, Escobar with that great arm at shortstop can really turn the double play. When he gets that ball in his hand, it's automatic. He's going to throw you out at first. winners of the TD Comfort Zone Seat Contest. Congratulations and enjoy the ball game. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Well, what a great day to be sitting on the field up the first baseline. 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays here in the third. Yan Gomes goes after the first pitch. Gomes making his first start behind the plate.
He looks good. It really opened up the eyes of the coaching staff in spring training when they saw him catch it.
Base hit through the left side into left field. A leadoff single for Yan Gomes.
First pitch away, fouls off, and then he tries to come inside, tries to sink that ball on the inner half, but Gomes is waiting for it. Single sharply in the left field. Boy, on top of being a good defender in spring training, he really swung the bat.
Yeah, he sure did. He swings the bat with a lot of conviction. Miguel Cabrera at third base has come in to guard against the bunt. Anthony Gose playing center field this afternoon.
This is shades of Pete Rose and Mickey Rivers in the 1976 World Series.
Bouncing ball through the middle into center field. Gomes will stop at second base. Back-to-back singles against Sanchez, and the Blue Jays have something going in the third.
He is looking better and better every day. More comfortable at the big league level, not waiting around. Pounds that ball right down in the dirt and through the infield. 2 singles to start off the third inning.
So now you really have to guard against the bunt if you're the Tigers. Rajay Davis hitting in the leadoff spot. First and second. Nobody out.
If he's going to bunt, why don't you try and bunt for a base hit?
He did. Sanchez looks at third, and they're able to get Yan Gomes. Looked like Rajay was in between. He wanted to sacrifice, then he thought maybe I should put one down for a base hit and bunted it right back to the pitcher.
You know, a couple of things. It almost worked out because there was some serious English on that ball when it bounced back towards the mound. Right there, it took off, but a good play by Sanchez to get Gomes. Now you've got 2 of the fastest players on the bases. And it wouldn't shock me if the Blue Jays try a double steal here to get back into that sacrifice bunt mode.
Now, to give you an idea how consistent Sanchez has been throwing strikes, he's only thrown 2 balls to the first 10 batters he's faced. So if you want to play hit and run, he's going to give you something to put into play. There's a fastball inside to Rasmus. Well, we know one thing. Anibal Sanchez can field his position. And today he's throwing strikes.
That's impressive right there. 92%.
Colby Rasmus has gotten a steady diet of pitches inside. Been a good clutch hitter for the Jays this season, batting .310 with runners in scoring position. Ghost really got a good break from second and moves over to third. Oh my, he saw that fly to the ball in the dirt and he didn't hesitate.
You are the runner at second base. You could see that ball if it's going to be in the dirt, and watch him break as soon as it hits the dirt. And it trickles maybe a foot or 2 outside the dirt area around home plate, and he makes it without a throw. That is what speed can do for you.
One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Rajay Davis with a big lead at first. There he goes. Ball is down and in, no throw. Davis steals second, standing up.
Boy, that is fun when you've got guys on the bases who can run like Gose and Davis. it puts a lot of pressure on that defense. And Wheeler just has to eat that ball. If he throws that ball through, Ghost comes home.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Upstairs. It's just such an energizing way to play baseball. It excites the team, it excites the crowd, and it puts the defense on their heels. You're never really sure what's going to happen or when they're going to take off. Full count. Driven into center. Jackson makes the catch. Ghost tags at third. He comes in to score. Davis holds his ground at second. Rasmus delivers with the sac fly to center. 1-0 Jays.
Good piece of hitting right there with 2 strikes by Rasmus. And he goes over and gives a high five to Ghost. That run Anthony Ghost got for the Blue Jays. Going to third base on the wild pitch and then getting an easy RBI for Colby Rasmus.
Rajai Davis 11 of 12 in steal attempts of third. He thought about it, and Sanchez unloaded too quickly.
Another strike. Omar Infante, the second baseman, was playing deep at second base, and now he's gotten a little bit closer. That would have been an easy stolen base for Rajai Davis.
Brett Lawrie lines it into center. Austin Jackson runs it down. Lawrie hit it hard, but the Blue Jays break out on top. They steal a run. Good speed by Anthony Ghost. He gets in position for the sac fly. Colby Rasmus delivers. 1-0 Jays. The Blue Jays Girls' Day Baseball Clinic is presented by Baseball Canada and Baseball Nova Scotia. Halifax, Nova Scotia, Saturday, August 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Mainland Commons Field. That'll be the site of the Blue Jays Baseball Clinic. Instructors include Jesse Barfield, Dwayne Ward, and Jose Cruz Jr. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy for more information. The Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. Henderson Alvarez take to a 1-0 lead. Miguel Cabrera singled his first time up. Well, there's a good breaking ball, a little better depth on that breaking ball. And you made a great point about staying high with his hand.
Yeah, when he gets around the baseball, gets his fingers and his hand on the side of that ball, that's when it starts flattening out. He needs to stay on top, and he has gotten that back since they've moved him over to the third base side of the rubber. they were trying to tinker with him. The reason they moved him over to the first base side, it felt like the fastball was really sliding off of the plate. So they moved him over to the first base side, but that just didn't work out for him. Now he is back to where he has been with his success that he has had, and it shows in the way he's pitched his last few times out.
You can bet that Alvarez has a little more incentive in this game today. First time he's facing the Detroit Tigers and Miguel Cabrera. They both grew up in Venezuela, and you can bet Alvarez has admired Cabrera from afar for a long time.
Do you think he remembers that spring training day?
Oh yeah.
I do too. And that might be a little bit extra incentive for him also.
Yeah, he was making his final tune-up in Dunedin, and the Tigers brought the A team. Generally in spring training, you might see one or two of these guys during the course of spring training. They don't always play every game, but at the end of the spring, Jim Leland made sure he had the full lineup there, and they put on the show.
It was impressive.
Jumped on him quickly.
Yeah.
But this is the first time Henderson Alvarez is facing the Tigers in the regular season. This is where Cabrera really gets tough with 2 strikes. Cuts down his stride, just stays anchored and uses his hands.
Did a great job that last night. 2 strikes, hit a home run. Looked like it might have been a changeup that he hit out of the ballpark against Villanueva.
Might still be feeling the effects of that foul ball. Walking around trying to get some feeling back.
Back foot. And how about the left side of the infield, how deep they are. They don't want any ground ball to get through.
Plus, if he hits it hard, it's going to get to you quickly. There's the ground ball. Escobar at short. 1 down. Prince Fielder will step to the plate, and of course that's the name that's been around baseball for a while. His father, Cecil Fielder, came to the big leagues with the Blue Jays and became a big slugger with the Tigers once he returned from Japan. But we thought we'd take a look at the power generation. Combined home runs by father and son combination.
Bobby and Barry Bonds way out in front. Barry 700 and
some big ugly number.
Yeah, crazy number.
The Griffeys, Ken Sr. and Jr. And Prince Fielder and his father Cecil Fielder put up big numbers.
3rd on that list already.
Easy play for Alvarez. Boy, you get through this part of the order with 2 ground outs, you are laughing.
In a good way, because they're so dangerous. And they get a couple of ground balls to keep them into the ballpark and then keep them in the infield. Doing a good job.
First time the Tigers have had a look at Henderson Alvarez. Blue Jays lead 1-0. Breaking ball is fouled out of play. Alvarez has shown a much better breaking ball today. It's always been his 3rd best pitch. Sinker, changeup, and then breaking ball. But today he's thrown some good breaking balls.
Yeah, down and away. And for the most part, he has kept the ball down this afternoon. Right there. That you can throw that pitch all afternoon, and they're not going to hurt you.
As long as you trust that fastball and allow it to move, not worried about making a perfect pitch with it, you can get a lot of ground ball outs.
Henderson's the type of pitcher that the catcher can set up in the middle of the plate and just let that movement of his pitch, the natural movement of his pitches, take him off the edges of the plate.
Base hit. Delvin Young got the breaking ball. Got too much of the plate, and he has a 2-out single.
Time it looked like Henderson Alvarez was a little bit too quick with that slider. He wanted to finish him off, so he came out of his delivery just a little bit, tried to speed things up, and that's what allowed that ball to hang up there in the strike zone. And hitters certainly love that with 2 strikes.
Brendan Bosch had an infield single his last time up. A slow bouncing ball to second base, and Kelly Johnson couldn't make a play on it. Just wasn't hit that hard. Now back out of play, ball on the strike. Blue Jays don't have an awful lot of fresh arms down in that bullpen. They'd like not to use Brandon Lyon this afternoon. Aaron Oliver's probably out of the picture this afternoon, as is Aaron Luke. So they'd like to have Alvarez pitch deep into this ball game.
Well, if he is, he's going to have to keep the pitch count down. He's going to have some quick innings, quick resolution too. At bats, he's given up 4 singles in 4 innings now.
One ball, 2 strikes. Just off the inside corner. Alvarez thought of a strike 3.
Yeah, it's a good idea right there. Everything away, away, away. You get the batter leaning out over the plate and try that comeback fastball. That one just off the plate. Alvarez thought he had enough of it. Do it again.
That ball got out over the plate, and that's going to split the outfielders and go to the wall. Delman Young is headed to third. The throw in from the outfield. Escobar's throw to the plate is cut off. Well, it came back with that fastball, but it moved out over the plate, and Bosch was able to get to it, and he's tied it up with a 2-out double.
Yeah, thought he had to strike out the prior pitch, and then tried to go back in there once again. A little bit too quickly. It leaked out over the middle of the plate, and Bosch, who's been swinging a hot bat for the Tigers over the last 20 or so games, splits the outfielders, and Young with 2 outs, crack at the bat, he's off, and we are all tied.
19th double of the season for Brennan Bosch, his 44th RBI. Of course, Delman Young all the way from first. Bounced in the dirt, and Bosch holds his ground at second. Tigers now have 5 hits this afternoon. That means Henderson Alvarez has now allowed 142 hits. That's the 4th most hits allowed in the American League. He's right behind Rick Porcello of the Tigers, who's allowed 147. James Shields of the Rays leads. He's given up 156 hits, and Derek Lowe has given up 148.
Lowe, Alvarez, and Porcello, all the same type of pitcher. Right-hander, sinker baller, throws a lot of strikes, don't strike out a lot of players.
Dan Herron's also on that list. He's 7th, same type of pitcher.
James Shields is the one that surprises me.
Ball and strike. Johnny Peralta. They really pounded the ball inside to Peralta. And he is the kind of guy that will pick up on a pattern. If you stay there too often, he'll take a shot and try to do some damage, open up and guess with it.
Yeah, you don't have to get the head out to pull it.
Another ball inside. Well, here's where you need that one good breaking ball. You're throwing sliders or fastball inside. Now throw something to the other side of the plate, going in the opposite direction.
Young Gomes has caught Henderson Alvarez, and he seems very comfortable. Done a good job of following along the game plan that the Blue Jays have called up against the Tigers.
Went for the outside corner, didn't get the call. Jerry Meals didn't like it. A couple of pitches in this inning, Henderson Alvarez thought he had made a good pitch. That one's tough to call outside.
Yeah.
Back and strikes him out. Fastball does it. But the Tigers have tied it up. An RBI double by Brennan Bosch has knotted the score at 1. The Blue Jays in the bottom of the 4th will send Edwin Encarnacion to the plate, followed by Travis Snyder and Yunel Escobar. Brought to you by the Aspire Travel World MasterCard from Capital One. And today we're going to take a deeper look at the RBI guys since Jose Bautista's gone on the DL. And leader of the pack, Edwin Encarnacion.
You know, we talked when Jose went on the disabled list that it's not going to be one guy. Everybody has to pick up the slack with Bautista out of the lineup, and that's exactly what has happened. Encarnacion leads with 9 RBIs since Jose went on the DL. Then Travis Snyder, 8 big RBIs for him. Aaron Sebia, Rasmus, and Mathis round out the top 5. So it's been a total team effort.
One guy is not going to replace Jose Bautista. You see Jose giving it to the umpire, Jerry Meals, for that strike call on Encarnacion. Jose has been consistent in his support of his teammates since he's gone on the disabled list. Whatever he can do to help out. The ball is hit off the end of the bat, and that's carrying out of the ballpark. My, oh my. Edwin Encarnacion, his 28th home run, it sounded like it hit off the end of the bat.
It looked like it hit off the end of the bat, but it kept carrying, and that's why this ballpark is such a good hitter's ballpark. Just shoots it to right field, and it keeps carrying. Watch the ball down and away. He reaches for it. You're right, it looked like it's off the end of the bat, but he hits it up into the air, and it just carries and carries and lands into the bullpen. And he breaks the tie with 1 swing of the bat.
Boy, that's how you replace Jose Bautista. Didn't take him long at all. That's the 10th RBI since Bautista's been out of the lineup. Boy, he gets big hits, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He tied it up with a 2-run home run. Excuse me, a 3-run home run on Thursday. And the Blue Jays were being shut out.
I like how he says, "You're going to pitch me away right there? Okay, I'll stay on that ball." Flew out to right field. Nice play by Bosch in the first inning. This time hits it over his head and out of the ballpark.
Travis Snyder chased the pitch upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bouncing ball fielder will go to the bag, and Snyder's retired. Jose Bautista, you can see he's removed that splint from his left hand, and today it's reported that he swung the bat. Bungle bat, just dry swings, just trying to get that range of motion back in his hand. But still, I think it's optimistic to expect him back on August 1st when he's eligible to come off the disabled list.
Yeah, they say he's getting better, quicker. And we were talking to John Farrell yesterday. He was saying early next week the dry swings, and then you've got to get a bat, and then you've got to go out and take some batting practice. I think it's more going to be like 2 weeks from now before we see Jose.
Well, the problem Jose has is his swing is so violent. And when he turns it loose, he puts a lot of torque on that wrist. There's a fly ball to right. Bosch was over toward the foul line. He makes the catch, 2 outs.
You know, in a hitter like Jose Bautista, you better be 100% sure that all the injury inflammation, all of that is out, because you start thinking about that and slowing your swing down, you're not going to get the same hitter. So he's got to make sure that he's 100%.
This is the 100th game for the Blue Jays. They have 62 more games after this ball game, and you want Jose Bautista for the majority of those games. Blue Jays are currently 4 games back in the American League wild card standings. But there are some teams right there where they could leapfrog very quickly.
You know, all bunched together. And all you need is one of those extended hot streaks that we haven't seen from the Jays this year. A hot streak like the Tigers are coming off. 13 out of 15, something like that.
Tigers won 13 out of 15 before they've lost the 3 of the last 4 games. Lost 2 to Cleveland and then the opener in this series. Kelly Johnson with a 3-0 count. A 2-out walk to Kelly Johnson. John Gomes had a single in his first at bat. Mentioned the wild card race. Tampa Bay 51-49. They're a half game ahead of the Blue Jays. The Orioles are only a game and a half ahead of the Blue Jays. They're 52-48. So you could leapfrog some of these teams with a week-long hot streak. I think that's bigger than the number of games behind. Eliminating the teams that are ahead of you.
Yeah, that's harder to do. You got to get over those guys.
And nobody's really got too hot or too cold. It'll be interesting to see what the Angels do now. They are tied with the Athletics for the wild card race.
Look what that one hot streak will do for some of these teams. Tigers, you mentioned them. Oakland A's, they got a nice little hot streak and they're right into it.
And the Oakland A's hot streak came on the heels of a 9-game losing streak.
How about the Atlanta Braves? They've had a nice little hot streak to get back into the thick of things.
They've won 3 in a row, and they are currently tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the National League wild card race. All of that being said, certainly has intensified the work of the GMs around baseball, with the non-waiver trade deadline coming up Tuesday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Non-waiver trade deadline will take place on July 31st.
All the big guys are being taken off the table one by one.
I think there's going to be a big trade of someone that nobody's talking about. I think that was the case last year when the Blue Jays ended up with Colby Rasmus. Very little talk about Colby Rasmus. Certainly the Blue Jays sent Zebchinski, Frazier, and Dotel away, and that caught everybody by surprise. I think we're going to see one of those types of trades where it comes out of nowhere. There goes Kelly Johnson. And Gomes takes ball forward. Back-to-back 2-out walks. It's a little bit more like the Anibal Sanchez we saw back in Miami, where he had trouble throwing strikes and then laid off home run. Really kind of turned things around.
Same inning. This is the same inning that he lost the plate down in Miami. Home run, a couple of walks now, setting the stages for Ghost.
He's only thrown one first pitch strike in this inning. Pitching behind has not worked well for Sanchez. Anthony Ghost had to base it up the middle in the third inning. And he scored the first Blue Jays run of the afternoon. Oh, and 2. Ghost is a very confident young man. He really believes in his talents, but I think he's understanding right now that there's some work to be done. He's getting pitches to hit that he's just not quite ready to hit yet. His timing is just a little bit off.
I asked him when he first came up here, I said, what's the biggest difference in you as a player from last year to this year? He says, hitting. I am a much better hitter this year. I understand hitting, what pitchers are trying to do to me. He has played since 2 Januaries ago every week except for 10 weeks. That's the only time that he hasn't played. He has basically played baseball for 2 straight seasons.
And that's what you do when you're young.
Yep.
Go to winter ball, go to instruction league, whatever it takes, just get as many opportunities as you can.
And that's why he is getting better and better. He's 21 years old.
Sanchez waits on and fires to first in time to get Ghost. The Blue Jays strand a pair, but they take a lead. Edwin Encarnacion, an opposite field home run, his 28th of the season, has given the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead through 4. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. After this ball game on Sportsnet 1, it'll be the Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees. John Lester, left-hander, will go up against C.C. Sabathia. Matchup of 2 outstanding left-handers. Lester's having a disappointing season at 5-8. C.C. Sabathia is 10-3. But the Boston Red Sox are reeling. They lost 10-3 at the hands of Phil Hughes and the Yankees last night. They've slipped to 49-51.
Will that be his first start since the Blue Jays faced him knocked him around for 11.
I believe it is.
I think it is. This will be fun.
Yep.
See how he can bounce back after that.
His worst start of his career. He allowed 11 earned runs and gave up 4 home runs. First time he had done that in his big league career. Henderson Alvarez once again has been staked to a 1-run lead. Bottom of the order for Detroit. Standing right there at shortstop is Escobar.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Omar Infante struck out, leading off the 3rd inning. Infante came up with the Tigers, and when you shop around and you have to fill a void, you certainly are much more comfortable if you know the player you're looking at. He came to the big leagues in 2002 with Detroit. Mainly became an everyday player in 2004. Played 142 games for the Tigers. Hit 16 home runs. Was his career high.
Yeah, he can hit. He can do those little things that you need to do in baseball to help you win games. Hasn't found it yet offensively.
He shoots this ball in the gap. This is trouble. Rajay Davis with a long run gets there. Rajay Davis took a good route to that baseball. It was slicing back toward him as it was hit off the bat of a right-hander, and that ball came back a bit, but his speed helped out there.
You know, that's the beauty of what the Blue Jays are throwing out there lately in terms of outfield defense. They've got 3 guys who can play center field. Henderson Alvarez certainly loves that, as he thought that was extra bases, but Rajay Davis' speed outruns the baseball.
2 outs. Top of the order, Austin Jackson has hit the ball sharply twice. Gone 1 for 2. When Alex Anthopoulos took over as the general manager, he wanted a more athletic ball club, and he has done that. You think about the addition of Rajay Davis, Colby Rasmus, and now the promotion of Anthony Ghost, Travis Snyder. Kind of athletes all over the place in the outfield. Didn't hurt that he picked up that guy at third base from Milwaukee.
That's
either.
the one guy I was looking at right there. Let's don't forget him. He's pretty good. He is not a bad athlete. The pitching staff seems to be a little bit more athletic.
Ground ball. That Flory writes himself in time. There's a good bounce back inning for Henderson Alvarez. It took him just 10 pitches after Encarnacion gave him the lead. defense has been on their toes early.
It's usually the infield, but so far today it's been the outfield. Travis Snyder takes a hit away from Bridge Fielder in the first inning. Then Rajai Davis is going to go deep into the gap in right center field to take extra bases away from Infante. Henderson Alvarez certainly likes that, and the pitcher can really energize himself after great plays like that.
Good defense in the outfield is something that will win you ball games. You have missed plays in the infield. You don't make plays, you got a chance for a double play to erase that mishap. Not in the outfield.
Yeah, you make plays in the outfield, you make mistakes out there. Those are extra bases, 2, maybe even 3.
On the ground, Peralta comes in, unloads in a hurry. Davis is retired. Colby Rasmus, who is the DH this afternoon. Drove in the first run for the Blue Jays with a sac fly to center field. That knocked in Anthony Gose. There's a bunt up the third baseline, and Cabrera takes it in foul ground.
Colby has shown that he's pretty good at that. Just get the ball down and use your speed to outrun the baseball. He's struggling a little bit of late, so it's not a bad idea to try to pick up a base hit off of the bunt.
Junior J Saturday here at Rogers Center. Lots of kids on hand. Colby Rasmus flares one into center. That gets down for a base hit. Ball got up out over the plate, and he was able to put it in play into center.
To make up for some of those line drive outs that he was hitting on the last road trip.
Hitters will tell you it never makes up for it. They always remember the line drives they hit right at somebody. Brett Laurie leads the ball club with 108 hits. Picked up a double with 2 outs in the first. Anibal Sanchez, Blue Jays roughed him up, as we mentioned. Lasted just 3 1/3 the last time they faced him. But he's had a lot of success. He's thrown a no-hitter. He has 3 one-hitters. And he and Matt Cain, since the start of 2006, are the only major leaguers with 4 complete game outings in which he allowed 1 or fewer hits.
Pretty impressive. That resume, 3 one-hitters and a no-hitter.
He's an interesting guy. He's a free agent at the end of this season. And he's got a full complement of pitches.
Good changeup right there. Curveballs, fastball. He threw harder when he was younger. Originally came up in the Boston Red Sox organization.
He went to Miami in 2005 as part of that multiplayer deal. He and Hanley Ramirez were the 2 key prospects in the minor leagues that went to Miami in exchange for Josh Beckett and that throw-in named Mike Lowell.
That turned out pretty nice for both teams.
Guillermo Mota also went to the Red Sox. Yeah, that was a good trade. Lowell ended up becoming the World Series MVP. 2007.
Stabilized the infield, played great third base. Red Sox got what they wanted in a #1 starter. And the Marlins got what they wanted, young talent.
Cabrera Second for one. Back to first. Not in time. Colby Rasmus is as good as anybody on the Blue Jays at breaking up two. He gives you 100% effort every time. He takes a hard slide down there in second base. But that keeps the inning alive for Edwin Encarnacion.
Yeah, we'll see how big that slide turns out. This was a big home run by Encarnacion last time up. Fly ball to right field, but just kept carrying all the way out of the ballpark. But you keep the inning alive. You give the Blue Jays another chance to swing the bats.
That opposite field home run, just his second opposite field home run of the season. His grand slam was an opposite field home run. But he has really become a very dominant pull hitter. You see the home runs by direction. Just two to the opposite field.
He's got a plan right now. He has an idea of what Sanchez is going to do to him. I think he's thinking about the ball away.
I had a good cut at that pitch. Saw Fielder and Laurie at first base. They were both in the Brewers organization. And Brett Laurie never went to spring training with the big league club. I'm sure they had gotten to know each other a little bit. Laurie probably worked out a bit before spring training with them. Got their eye on Brett Laurie. I wouldn't expect him to run here, would you?
No, not with two outs and a big home run hitter at the plate. He can easily score from first base with an extra base hit.
There he goes. No chance for Avila to throw. It's another stolen base. Second for the Jays this afternoon.
Well, they picked the right pitch to go on. Looked like a breaking ball that was down in the dirt. Laurie now has 13 stolen bases. Avila no chance to throw him out.
Changeup. He gets a piece of it and stays alive. Edwin with that solo home run in the fourth has now driven in 72 for the season. It's just 4 off his all-time high. Drove in 76 in 2007 with the Reds. He's already established a new high in home runs. He has now hit 28. And he takes the walk. So that slide by Colby Rasmus has really extended the inning. Causes Sanchez to throw a few more pitches. Now the Blue Jays have 2 on and a dangerous left-handed hitter at the plate. The little things that oftentimes are overlooked. But Rasmus' hard slide kept the inning alive as Laurie reached on a possible double play ball.
Yeah, makes him throw a few more pitches and a good setup here for the Blue Jays. Good matchup with Snyder.
I had a conversation with Travis this morning and we asked him about sinker ball pitchers. He said, I like sinker ball pitchers. And when you think about it, it's a natural for him. He's a low ball hitter. And Sanchez is going to pitch to his strength, which is down. And for Snyder, that's a good matchup.
Just got to make sure he gets the ball down. He swung out a couple of pitches that were up last time.
That's the pitch that really caused Snyder so much trouble over the last couple of years. He always tried to hit that pitch, and it's a ball. Lines it right to fielder. So Sanchez gets out of the inning. And he throws a few extra pitches. We have played 5 here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Big crowd on hand this afternoon. Junior Jays Saturday, 41,832 in attendance. Blue Jays and Tigers always draw a good crowd no matter where they play. Quentin Berry didn't get it past the pitch here, and Alvarez makes a good play. First out of the inning. Alvarez has been able to do that every inning this afternoon, and that's a big step in the right direction.
Get that first guy in the inning, especially with Cabrera, Fielder, and Young coming up.
Miguel Cabrera single on the first pitch he saw this afternoon, a line drive into center. Pretty good pitch right at the bottom of the zone. Prince Fielder on deck. Jerry Meals is the home plate umpire, and he was the home plate umpire last May 7th when the Tigers were here. Justin Verlander was on the mound, and Verlander threw a no-hitter. Only one base runner reached base. J.P. Arencibia had a 12-pitch walk. Just one walk. That was the only thing that kept Verlander from a perfect game.
And that was it.
Yep.
I remember watching that game. I missed that one. Oh, Alvarez is throwing some good pitches.
There's Verlander. Well, what a pitcher, and what a season he had last year. MVP and Cy Young Award winner. Cabrera takes the walk.
Blue Jays will miss Verlander in this series.
Not much, though.
They'll miss having a hit off of him. I also checked they're going to miss Felix Hernandez as they head out to Seattle after the game tomorrow.
Yeah, you see, Verlander is a good guy to miss. He's not pitching in this series. His last three starts against the Blue Jays, 2-0, 1.44 ERA. For a second career no-hitter right here at Rogers Center, as we mentioned, and last year MVP and Cy Young Award winner. I went back and I looked at Verlander's last 48 starts. He's 33-8.
It's not bad.
That's pretty good. 2.31 ERA. He has really blossomed into one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball.
He is working on one of those streaks that are kind of obscure a little bit in baseball. At least 6 innings in 63 consecutive starts. The third best in baseball history. The best, Bob Gibson, went 78 straight games of at least 6 innings from 1967 to 1970. Steve Carlton is second at 69, and then Verlander at 63.
Verlander has had 5 straight 200 innings seasons. It's hard to imagine Verlander in 2008 went 11-17. Had a 4.84 ERA. Three and 0 to Fielder. There's a strike.
11-17. That followed up. I thought he came out of the chute his first couple of years pretty good.
He made 2 starts in 05 and went 0-2, and then he went 17-9, 18-6, and then 11-17. So that was a real turnaround for him. Back-to-back walks. They come with 1 out in the 6th. First 2 walks of the ball game for Alvarez, and now I get a visit from the shortstop, Yunel Escobar.
Not a bad idea. Thought he was taken aback a little bit by the pitches that he threw to Cabrera, and then tried to be a little bit too fine, throw a better one, and he's gotten out of his release point.
You see John Fair looking at his matchup card, saying where he is. Remember that Darren Oliver and Brandon Lyon are not available today, as they pitched in yesterday's game. Casey Jansen is available, and it looks like Farrell and Bruce Walton are trying to contemplate who they're going to go to start loosening up. First and second, one out. It's a 2-1 ball game. Delman Young singled and scored in the fourth. Blue Jays have turned one double play. Came back in the third inning. There's the call to the bullpen. Looks like Evan Crawford, the young left-hander, starting to loosen up. Boy, that's a tough pitch right at the bottom of the zone, but Alvarez is not getting those calls, and there is Crawford.
The Tiger hitters are laying off of it also. That's where you want to be if you want to get that ground ball.
Popped into right field. Rajay Davis gets there, and Young is retired. Now, challenge for Henderson Alvarez. Brennan Bosch has gone 2 for 2 already this afternoon. Bosch had an infield single and a 2-out RBI double. Blue Jays outfield, they have good arms. Snyder throws well. Ghost has got the strongest arm in the outfield, and Rajay Davis has thrown very well this year.
Rajay has 4 outfield assists, second to Jose Bautista in the outfield.
Brennan Bosch with 2 outs. Now Yan Gomes going to go out and have a little meeting with Alvarez. Obviously a very pivotal point in this ball game. Top of the 6th inning, 2 outs. Blue Jays clinging to a 1-run lead.
Last time it was a pitch that was down and away to Bosch that he hit that double up the gap in left center field. Gomes goes out just to make sure that they're thinking along the same lines, how they want to pitch him. Do they want to go in?
Alvarez certainly has had a lot of questioning looks into the umpire. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's thrown 93 pitches. His only walks in the game have come in this inning. Popped in the air, left field. Snyder coming in. Bosch is retired. Alvarez gets out of it. Tigers leave a pair, and the Blue Jays hold on to their 2-1 lead. Spitz are the official sunflower seeds of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wasn't the big crack of the bat that we have heard before from Edwin Encarnacion, but it was plenty to get that ball over the wall in right field. He is now pulled into a tie with Josh Hamilton, Curtis Granderson for second place in the American League in home runs behind Adam Dunn. He takes over the leadership of the Blue Jays with his 28th home run, and he broke the tie in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Now Escobar hits one high and deep to center field. Home run, Escobar. Welcome back to the lineup.
Now that was a crack of the bat right there. Pitch over the middle of the plate. He's had a couple of good swings this afternoon and now squares one up off of Anibal Sanchez, inner half. And Escobar has been hitting the ball a lot harder and a lot farther lately. Standing up just a little bit more, doesn't have to uncoil as much. Big home run there for Escobar.
Home run number 7 for the Blue Jays shortstop. He missed 3 games, and well, it's good to see his bat back in the lineup.
Said, I got to get back in the lineup. Omar Vizquel's had a big game yesterday.
Boy, what a backup player Vizquel has been. But Escobar has got the ability to hit 12 to 15 home runs and drive in 65, 70 runs. Alex Avila got a little burner right there on that foul tip. Just caught him on the left arm. Kelly Johnson just kind of deflected it. And caught the catcher. Jerry Meals has given Avila a little bit of a break. Avila's right thinking now, saying, you know what, I used to be an infielder.
What was I thinking? Yeah. No, he's a great catcher.
Boy, he is. He's established himself very quickly in the big leagues. He's poked into shallow left field. The shortstop Peralta is out, and he makes the catch.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Junior Jays Saturday outside the ballpark. Lots of activities for the kids, and it's been a good turnout. Over 41,000 on hand at Rogers Center.
Blue Jays are really drawing this year. Fans are really excited about this club. And a lot of young, entertaining players that they can come out and watch.
Well, one thing they do, they play hard every day. This is popped up left side of the diamond. Peralta, the shortstop, takes charge and makes the catch. 2 down. Junior J Saturday has always been a great attraction, and then you couple that with the fact that the Detroit Tigers are in town, and that's always been a great draw in Toronto. A lot of Tiger fans, and you get down around London, Ontario, and it's very difficult to decide which team you're going to root for, Tigers or the Blue Jays. Anthony Gose fouls it off.
See a lot of Tiger jerseys around the hotel over the weekend.
There's so many great games. You go back to the history of these two ball clubs when they're in the same division. Starting in 83, 84, when the Tigers won that World Series. Blue Jays won in 85. Last weekend of the series in 87. Last weekend of the season.
Yeah. You saw it.
Yep.
You were there. That was some kind of baseball.
Tigers won 1-0. Larry Herndon hit a home run. That was the only run of the ball game. Prince Fielder and his father have both ties to the Tigers now. Cecil Fielder hit 319 home runs in his career. He started his career in Kansas City, came to the Blue Jays, and made it to the big leagues with the Jays. Prince is in his first season with Detroit after spending his entire career in Milwaukee.
Cecil went to Japan for a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Over there, rake, became an everyday player, came back and was Mr. Baseball. 50 home runs, right?
1990 with Detroit. Those strikes out and the inning is over. But Yunel Escobar with a leadoff home run, his 7th home run of the season, has expanded the Blue Jays lead. It's now 3-1, a long shot to center. Second home run for the Jays this afternoon. Farm report. We'll check in with AAA Las Vegas. Danny Echeverria, the shortstop, over his last 4 games, has 10 hits in 17 at-bats. That's a .588 average. He has walked twice and scored 3 runs. He's 23 years old and really starting to show signs that he's about ready to come to the big leagues.
Yes, certainly. He has now had 4 straight multi-hit games for the AAA team. He's now hitting .316 for the season. And all the scouts that we talked to say he's big league ready.
Johnny Peralta. He's gotten a steady diet of that sinking fastball on the inside part of the plate. For me, this is the best breaking ball that Alvarez has thrown all season. Got a little more depth, and he's had the ability to throw it for strikes.
When he slows down that windup and he lets his arm catch up with his lower half, that's when you get that good snapping breaking ball. When he rushes it, that's when he gets into trouble.
Johnny Peralta didn't like the call. Jerry Meals rings him up for a 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Henderson Alvarez. Fastball on the outside corner.
Watch it come back outside and then right on the outside corner to get Peralta. He's had a rough series so far. 5th time that he has struck out in these first 2 games.
Catcher Alex Avila. Avila's 0 for 5 in this series. Alvarez seems to have gotten a little boost of energy this inning. He got into a tough spot in the 6th, issuing back-to-back one-out walks to Cabrera and Fielder. But then got a couple of fly balls and got out of the inning. Fair ball. Good play by Encarnacion as he stays with it and steps on the bag to retire the Tiger catcher.
Attack mode. That's what it looks like he's in right here. It's almost like they've said you got one more inning. You're on a short leash and you go as far as you can, because Joel Carreño and Evan Crawford, just called up to the ball club, are warming up in case they need him here. This is a big inning, I think, for the Blue Jays in John Farrell.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. You get out of this inning and then you can think about the prospects of using Jay Happ and Casey Jansen to end the ball game.
And you always have in the back of your mind Cabrera and Fielder. Where are they?
Ground ball to third. Easy inning for Henderson Alvarez. He bounces back and needs just 9 pitches to close out the Tigers in the 7th. Weekdays on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Rick Ayers was out early this afternoon getting information and talking to the Tigers and Blue Jays, and I'm sure they'll have some of that to relate to you on Monday afternoon. Rajay Davis goes after the first pitch and puts it charging and off the wall. Berry gets it back in quickly, but it's offline. Rajay Davis with a leadoff double. That starts the bottom of the 7th.
Showing some power this year is Rajay Davis. When you make a mistake, he's going to burn you. And he's always had that great speed. This ball is hit hard to left field, and he knows he's got extra bases if he can get in there, make that turn and outrun the baseball, which he does. Good start. And Colby Rasmus has tried to bunt a couple of times today. This is another time to try and lay one down.
Colby had a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. He singled in the 5th. And the Tigers got their signals crossed. Johnny Peralta was standing on the bag at 2nd when Sanchez delivered the pitch to Rasmus. Peralta broke in behind Rajay Davis. Davis is very good at stealing 3rd. 11 of 12 so far this season. There he goes. Throw to 3rd is not in time. 3rd stolen base for the Blue Jays. 2nd for Davis this afternoon.
Got that one with the standstill. Usually gets a nice little walking lead and a move. Look at right from a standstill, and he steals it. Avila, one of the better catchers at throwing out base runners, 30%, but he can't get Davis that time.
High and deep to right. 2-run homer, Rasmus.
We were talking last series against the Oakland A's that they were trying to pitch him inside. It looked like the Tigers were trying to do thing, and eventually somebody's going to pay. That ball is in, and Colby says, not this afternoon. Crushes it to right field. On a line, and 2 more runs for the Blue Jays. Sanchez not real happy with that pitch or the result, and it's going to cost him. His afternoon is over.
Third home run of the afternoon for the Jays. Rasmus, his 18th of the season, has now driven in 63 runs. Blue Jays have taken a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 7th. Brian Villarreal into the ballgame. And he has really filled the void for the loss of Al Albuquerque. He's done a good job in the back end of their bullpen.
Good fastball, good slider. He has racked up the strikeouts, 12.09 strikeouts per inning. That's 6th best among American relievers. 29th game, and they're going to need some shutdown innings after that home run by Rasmus.
Manuel Sanchez has been roughed up by the Blue Jays in his 2 starts this season. 5 earned runs this afternoon. He gave up 6 to them in Miami back on the 22nd of June. Brett Laurie doubled in his first at bat. It's kind of 1 for 3 with that double. Down the right field line, Bosch gets over quickly to get it back into the infield. Laurie's second hit of the afternoon. Both going to right field.
Doing that just a little bit better. Also waiting on pitches, staying aggressive.
Jim Leyland's ball club, after being so hot, they won 13 of 15 before they ran into the Cleveland Indians. They cooled them off, and the Blue Jays won the opener this series last night. The Tigers have had their problems with Cleveland. They've won just 2 of the 9 games the 2 clubs have played this season. .98 miles an hour, but way outside. Jim Leland got an extra arm in the rotation in Anibal Sanchez. He's making his first start this afternoon. This was his first appearance in a Tiger uniform.
We were anxious to see him, see what he has. He'll be fine. Blue Jays just familiar with him right here. Is a little comfortable.
Laurie will move up on the wild pitch. Ball in the dirt. Avila backhand swiped at, and Laurie easily moves into second. Real signed with the Tigers as a non-drafted free agent in 2005. He too is from the same hometown as Henderson Alvarez, Valencia, Venezuela.
What an arm. 98 with that fastball.
Off the plate, and Encarnacion walks for a second time this afternoon. The Blue Jays, boy, some days they look like world beaters. Patient at bats, swing the bats well, good clutch hitting, hit the home runs, 3 home runs in the game this afternoon. But it all starts and ends with starting pitching. Henderson Alvarez did a good job in the 6th inning to strand a couple on base. And then the Blue Jays score a run in the 6th, add 2 here in the 7th.
You know, lowest low, I think, was after that New York series. And the Blue Jays went out and shook up the ball club, made the big trade. A couple of injuries, first to Bautista and the Brett Laurie. That made it low of low, and they got swept. And then the young guys come up, and it feels like a different ball club, energy-wise. They figured out the starting rotation. They're starting to throw more strikes. Bullpen's starting to figure themselves out. Players like Snyder they've energized this team.
There's nothing like youthful enthusiasm to get everybody rejuvenated second half of the season. Since that Yankee defeat in New York, they have really kind of turned things around. Their last 16 games, when they win, obviously they hit the ball well, they score a lot of runs, almost 9 runs a game, and when they lose, they can't do anything right. Hitting .042 with runners in scoring position in their 8 losses, and their OPS just over 500. There go the runners. Snyder fouls it back. He had to protect with 2 strikes.
With 2 strikes, he had to protect. So the surprise element is off now. Laurie was just watching Real, and he was concentrating. Gave him one look turned towards home, and that would have been a double steal easily by the Blue Jays. But Travis Snyder had to swing, or it would have been strike 3.
Good combination for the Blue Jays. They have had 3 stolen bases in this game. They've also hit 3 home runs. Snyder hangs tough and fouls off the fastball. Villarreal's got a big arm.
Yep.
That last pitch was 98.
They've got some big arms in that bullpen with Benoit and Valverde, Cope, Villarreal. These kind of guys, they supply the power. What Travis Snyder should be worried about right now, just use your hands. Make sure you get the bat head out in front. You don't have to wind up and take a big swing to hit the ball hard.
Drives this ball to center. Austin Jackson on the run, on the track. And Laurie goes back and tags up. Encarnacion almost passed him. Gary Darlin, the second base umpire, was standing right there. Jim Leland's going to argue this. And he's going to say that they passed each other. And Leland, you can see he passed him. That's the first thing he said to Gary Darling.
Yeah, he might have an argument. We'll have to see the replay, but Brett Laurie went back to tag. Edwin Encarnacion read extra base hit. There's the play to deep center field, and there they are. Right away, the umpire signaled that they are safe, that they didn't pass one another. But let's watch on the ISO.
Boy, that was close. If they didn't pass one another, they were standing side by side.
This one might give us a little bit better shot of the two base runners.
But Gary Darling is the crew chief. He had perfect position there at second base, and he immediately held out his hands to indicate safe. And from that angle, it didn't look as though Encarnacion passed him.
Side by side's a good call.
He lost by a nose. But that was a good play by Laurie, reading that it was going to be caught by Jackson. Still just one out. And the Blue Jays always want to get at least 90 feet on a fly ball with nobody out, and that's what Laurie did. Yunel Escobar with a solo home run in the 6th. Blue Jays lead it.
Blue Jays liable to do anything here. First and third, one out. Got a strikeout pitcher on the mound. Escobar hits a lot of ground balls.
There goes Encarnacion. The throw to second is in time. Avila threw a strike, and Encarnacion is caught at second base. Avila, his first real opportunity to throw out a base runner. He makes the most of it.
Good pitch to catch and throw on. I mean, they might liable to do anything. Steal a base, double steal, hit and run, anything in that situation to try and get that runner in from third base. They go ahead with the straight steal, and Avila throws him out.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bouncing ball. Cabrera at third on the run in time. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays add 2 more runs. Colby Erasmus, a 2-run home run to right, his 18th of the season. Jay Happ comes out of the pen to work the 8th. His numbers combined between Houston and Toronto. This will be his 3rd appearance since coming to the Blue Jays. He has worked out of the bullpen since joining the ball club, and prior to that, he was a starting pitcher for the Astros.
Last time we saw Jay Happ was back on the 24th against the Athletics. Came out of the bullpen but did not start the inning. Tried to clean up a mess that Chad Beck had started in the 7th inning. Came in with runners on base. They would end up scoring. He would end up giving up 3 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings. Well, this works out quite nicely for the Blue Jays and John Farrell, just the way they drew it up. 7 innings for Henderson Alvarez, just 1 earned run against the heavy-hitting Detroit Tigers. Those 7 innings by Alvarez gets it deeper into the ball game and a chance for Jay Happ to get some work here and finish it up. The rest, some of the other arms down in that bullpen.
First time he's gone 7 innings in the month of July, this being his 4th start of the month, and that's just what the doctor ordered. Blue Jays needed a deep start without Oliver or Brandon Lyon available today in their bullpen. So now they'll turn to Jay Happ to pitch the 8th inning. Top of the order, Austin Jackson has gone 1 for 3 this afternoon. Breaking ball gets away from Gomes. Boy, this is where you manage the scoreboard right here. Jay Happ comes into the ball game. He's got a 4-run lead. Leadoff man Jackson, and you know, just 2 batters away, you've got Cabrera and Fielder. Get these guys out.
Yeah, another big inning. Don't even give them the thought that they can try and come back into this game. Got a pinch hitter on deck for the Tigers.
Brian Rayburn has grabbed a bat. He's on deck now. He will come on to pinch hit for Quentin Berry. A leadoff walk.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful day at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Pinch hitter is Ryan Rayburn. Right-handed bat, hitting for Quentin Berry. This has been a real problem for the Tigers. Rayburn was counted on to be a potent bat against lefty pitching, and he's at 163. He's had 80 at bats, just 13 hits. Doesn't have a home run. He's driven in 2 runs.
Playing second base, played the outfield also. He had a good spring, and I think that's why they thought they were going to get a little bit more offensive production from Rayburn.
Rayburn last year at 256 with 14 home runs. He's had good home run numbers for the Tigers the last 3 years. Hits this ball into center field. Anthony Gose has a beat on it in front of the warning track, and Rayburn is retired. So Miguel Cabrera comes to the plate with a man on and 1 out. And he has been one of the best run producers in baseball over the last 9 seasons. He's second to Albert Pujols, only 6 behind Pujols. Mark Teixeira has been a consistent run producer. David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez. That's a pretty impressive top 5 run producers in baseball.
Well, you can count on him. You can count on him if he stays healthy that he's going to hit 330 home runs, 100 RBIs. Eight straight years of 100 driven in. His career high 127 his first year with the Tigers.
He's not faced Jay Happ prior to this at bat. Fastball, and Cabrera was late. Cabrera has singled and walked. He's also grounded out to shortstop. Had 2 hits in the game last night, a home run and a double. On the ground, Laurie at third, to second for 1, back to first, double play. Jay Happ does a good job to get out of the 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn in the Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Please enjoy responsibly.
There is no substitution for speed, but you've also got to be a smart base runner. Anthony Gose is at second base, and he reads that the ball is going to be in the dirt. And it doesn't get that far away from Avila, but the great speed and the great read by Gose. He gets himself to third base with less than 2 outs, and he's able to score on a sacrifice fly by Colby Rasmus. A smart play by a very fast runner.
Brad Rayburn stays in the ball game. He takes over in left field for Quentin Berry. Came on as a pinch hitter. And a new pitcher is the veteran left-hander Phil Koch out of the bullpen. Brian Villarreal went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit and a walk.
Koch has got a good arm. 44 games this year. The good ERA. He had a good strikeout per 9 ratio. Good hard fastball. He's got a good breaking ball. Command has been a problem for him. His whip is up there at 1.5.
Starts things off to Kelly Johnson with a breaking ball strike. Ground ball to second base. Infante in time. 1 out. Jan Gomes done a good job behind the plate this afternoon. He guided Henderson Alvarez through 7 innings. He allowed the Tigers just 5 hits.
He's a baseball player.
He can do a lot of things to help you.
Yep, wherever you play him. Either at first base, third base, catcher. He can help you out.
He was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A big league player to hail from Brazil. Boy, he's such an asset to be able to catch. And to me, primary position is catcher. But he can play third, he can play first.
We also saw him in the outfield. In Atlanta, he played a couple of innings out there.
Drives this ball toward the gap in right center. That's going to get down for a hit. Jackson plays the big hop, and Gomes is headed for second. He'll get there standing up. His 3rd double of the season. His 2nd hit. He's gone 2 for 3 this afternoon.
Throwing a walk, and he's been on base 3 times. And did we say he could hit? Takes that pitch down and away. Doesn't try and pull it. Shoots at the right field. He knows he's got to hustle with Jackson out there if he wants to get to second base. Jackson does a good job cutting the ball off, but the throw's offline, and Gomes has a stand-up double.
Number 9 hitter Anthony Gose. Gose was involved in that spark play, as we mentioned, moving up on the wild pitch and scoring on the sacrifice fly back in the third. Cabrera at third, still in front of the bag. He expects that there's a chance Gose might bunt here. You see the third baseman try and discourage Anthony Gose to bunt.
This is about driving in runs right here for Gose. Good chance against a left-hander with a decent breaking ball, averaging about a strikeout an inning. Stay on that thing and just hit a shot right over the shortstop. That's what his thought process should be right now.
One and two. Good crowd on hand. Blue Jays trying to win their third straight ball game. They won the series finale against Oakland. Won the opener against Detroit. Now they have a 5-1 lead here. Bottom of the 8th inning. Down and away. 2-2. $41,832 on hand. It's a Junior Jays Saturday, and they have been entertained. Good ball game. Those strikes out, pitched down and in. It's the second out of the inning. So back to the top of the order. Rajay Davis had another big day offensively. Has a couple of steals. He doubled and scored in the 7th. He's going to be all geared up for the first pitch from Coke.
That's the first thing I was thinking about. Last time he hit a double on the first pitch he saw off the wall in left field. Now with the lefty out there, he's thinking the same thing. String on him.
Blue Jays have got just 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position this afternoon. Colby Rasmus is on deck. He's had a 3 RBI day.
Made up with that, or for that 1 for 9 with 3 home runs. A couple of solo home runs, Encarnacion and Escobar, and then the big 2-run home run by Colby Rasmus.
Two balls and a strike to Blue Jays right fielder Rajay Davis. Blue Jays took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Colby Rasmus had the sac fly. Tigers tied it up in their half of the 4th, but Edwin Encarnacion, his 28th home run of the season, and the Blue Jays have never looked back. It's been a good ball game all around. Defensively, Blue Jays made a couple of good defensive plays right out of the chute. Brett Laurie robbed Austin Jackson, the first batter of the ball game, on a line drive to the third. And then in that same inning, top of the first, Travis Snyder takes extra bases away from Prince Fielder with a sliding catch in left.
RJ Davis had a nice play in right field also to take extra bases away from Infante.
Made a running catch just on the edge of the warning track in right center. That was in the 5th inning. Corey Rasmus is the DH this afternoon. Rajay Davis high and deep to left. It's long enough, but it is foul. Got out in front of it, and he put in a charge in that ball. But it hooked into the seats out of play.
Well, he is doing that with a little bit more regularity this year. Pulled the string again on him, and he's just a bit out front. And hooked it foul out on the left field line. 5 home runs this year for Davis and 12 doubles.
Another 2-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Davis strikes out. Cook strikes out a pair in the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th. The Blue Jays with a 5-1 lead. Jay Happ set to come back and work the 9th. It all starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Hazel May and Greg Zaun. 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time. Doug Pfister will go to the mound for the Tigers, and Brett Cecil will try to wrap up this series before the Blue Jays head out to Seattle to start a 3-city road trip. Jay Happ got out of the 8th inning with a good double play. He walked the leadoff batter, and then a fly out and a double play. So he's back to work tonight.
You were talking about that last inning, just what the doctor ordered, what John Farrell was hoping for. 7 innings from his starter, maybe 8, and then turn it over with a lead to Jay Happ. Give Casey Jansen an extra day off.
Jansen threw 11 pitches in the game last night. He has worked in back-to-back games, so they were hopeful that they would have an opportunity to give him the day off. Prince Fielder gone 0 for 2 with a walk. Fielder is 6 for 15 against Jay Happ, both of them having spent their careers in the National League. Oh, and 2. Blue Jays won the opener of this series 8-3 behind Carlos Villanueva, who improved to 6-0. Henderson Alvarez with a very effective start this afternoon. Fielder was late on that fastball. Thought it was strike three. Fielder might have thought the same thing.
Yeah, he bent over there and he caught him by surprise with that fastball. But it's been a ball all afternoon. That one just under the knees.
Well, that's a tough pitch. Full count. Prince Fielder leading off the top of the ninth. Tigers haven't had a hit since the fourth inning. Brennan Bosch doubled and drove in a run with 2 outs. Fielder, high bouncing ball to Kelly Johnson. 1 down. Fans, a reminder, tomorrow will be Mr. Sub Sports Bag Day, the third and final game of the series against the Tigers. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a sports bag courtesy of Mr. Sub. Call Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. You can log on to BlueJays.com to order your Blue Jays tickets or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Blue Jays will wrap up the homestand tomorrow afternoon. Delman Young, the DH.
You just mentioned that the Tigers have not had a hit since that Bosch double, that RBI double to score their only run back in the fourth inning. Jays pitching of late, even with all the injuries they've had to their starting rotation and in the bullpen, come out here and battle you. They're throwing strikes.
Aaron Laffey and Carlos Villanueva have certainly stepped up, filling in for the injured starters. Brett Cecil, his last time out, went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and allowed just 2 runs. It was in the series opener against Oakland. High fastball. Young strikes out. Jay Happ looks sharp.
Yeah, you get a couple veterans in that trade with the Houston Astros to settle things down. Also in the bullpen, Happ comes in. He can give you 2, 3, 4 innings if you need it from the left side. And now the bullpen, that time he raises that fastball to strike out Delman Young, and Brandon Lyon's done a great job.
Brennan Bosch pops it up. It's playable down the right field line. Kelly Johnson in foul ground. The game is over. Jay Happ with a good 2 innings of relief comes out of the bullpen in support of Henderson Alvarez. Edwin Encarnacion, one of 3 home runs this afternoon, was 28.
Well, the team with the home runs, that was the big part of this game. They were just 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The home runs made up for it. But the pitching, the story this afternoon, they haven't given up a hit since the 4th inning.
Shut down a very potent lineup. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Third and final game of this series on Sportsnet 1. Stay tuned. Blue Jays.